You know, there were a lot of artifact mods in Lightfall that I was really looking forward to. Bungie gave us that early preview, and there was a lot of hardcore anticipation on how OP a lot of them would probably be out in the wild. Fast forward to right now, I've come to learn that about half the mods on the artifact are actually worth their weight in gold, while the others have kind of broken my heart a little bit. I know I've already talked about artifacts before on this channel, but now we actually have numbers. And I told you that as soon as we had numbers, I would do a little bit of a follow-up, so why don't we go over both real quick, the ones that I've been let down by and the ones that I'm definitely going to try to take advantage of. But hey, real quick, do you often get headaches or eye strain from looking at your monitors for a really long time? If you do, great news, because today's video is brought to you by GMG. If you're anything like me, you're going to be doing a lot of Lightfall farming before the new raid, and the more we look at monitors for long periods of time, the more damage you can potentially be doing to your eyes. That's where the people at GMG come in. Those who watch me on stream know that I've been wearing my GMGs for well over a year now, I want to say. Very beneficial in my line of work to help reduce strain I often get on my eyes. GMG eyeglasses act as a shield against blue light. Wearing them can reduce eye strain, improve concentration, and maintain the quality of your vision over time against the effects of things like blue light. I wear the Oranos model because I like the way they look, but they have plenty of other models too, so you do you. In honor of Lightfall dropping, GMG is offering a huge 40% discount until March 5th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Don't wait, use my link down in the video description right now and take advantage of that big 40% offer, and thank you GMG. Alright, back to the content. Why don't we start with disappointment, Prismatic Transfer. Historically, we get at least one artifact mod per season that becomes kind of the go-to workhorse, and I really thought that Prismatic Transfer was going to be it. Pop your super, and every member of your fire team with a damage type different than yours will get a bonus to weapon damage. Immediately, I thought of what some of y'all probably thought of, the undeniable power of if this somehow were able to stack with the two kings of PvE Day 1 raid supers, Ward of Dawn and or Radiant Well. Well, bad news. After doing a bit of tinkering, I'm pretty sure that Prismatic Transfer is the same type of global empowerment buff as both Warlock Well and Titan Bubble. Translation, they don't stack. Radiant Well and Titan Bubble both on their own give a weapon bonus of about 25%, and Prismatic Transfer only gives an outgoing weapon bonus of 20%. Would have been insane if they stacked somehow, or if maybe you got an extra 5 to 10 damage on top instead of the full-blown 20, but no. The game sees that you have both buffs and just goes with the bigger number, aka either Titan Bubble damage number or Radiant Well damage number. If you want to look on the bright side, the duration is about 10 seconds, and again, it's literally free damage. I kinda have a sneaky feeling that P-Transfer is Bungie's way of trying to get us to stray away from our Bubble and Radiant Well overlords in PvE and do a little bit more experimenting with burst damage or, dare I say, roaming supers. Also on the bright side, the range is pretty generous. You need to be about 25-ish meters away from a teammate when they pop their super, and you will get that free damage buff. If you're wondering if P-Transfer works in PvP, it does, but I'm kinda not leaping for joy because, you know, we kinda already had Prismatic Transfer before Lightfall. It was called Radiant Light and High Energy Fire, and those are goddamn gone now. And the fun thing about High Energy Fire was that the buff stayed with you no matter how you got it until you got a kill, which is ridiculous, by the way. Meanwhile, Prismatic Transfer's duration in PvP is a measly 5 seconds. Don't spend it all in one place, Junior. And the damage output in PvP, by the way, is also 15% as opposed to the 20% that you get in PvE. I do still think that maybe most trial Sherpas out there will still probably run P-Transfer for the sole reason of why not? Artifact mods do apply passively now, which is undeniably great, and it's definitely possible that a free 15% damage buff for 5 seconds could lock up a free Trials round win. Not to mention that the other artifact mods in Column 5 were all probably designed to be used in PvE anyway, so what else would the Trials Sherpas use? Moving on to another Column 5 mod I had such high hopes for, Void Weapon Channeling. You gain a temporary bonus to Void Weapon damage after you defeat a target with a Void Weapon, while at least one of your Void abilities is fully charged. Let me break it down for you. Get a kill with a Void Weapon, and depending on how many of your Void abilities you have charged, you get 1 stack of Void Weapon Channeling, which will last you about 10 seconds. That includes your super, by the way, so if you haven't used any of your Void abilities and you get a kill with a Void Weapon, you immediately get ×4 stacks of Weapon Channeling. Sounds not bad, right? Hell, I mean, even if you use a Void ability here or there, you could still get at least 1 or even 2 stacks of Void Weapon Channeling for free, and free damage is free damage, right? Well, let me introduce you to to the thing that makes void weapon channeling cry with envy. It's called Void Weapon Surge, and it's an armor mod you already own. Void weapons get a small bonus to damage while you have any armor charge. You can also pile on multiple Void Weapon Surge armor mods, up to 3 actually, and guess what? The damage buff is exactly the same on both. Both Void Weapon Surge and Void Weapon Channeling each get the following damage buffs in PvE at every level: 10% at level 1, 17% at level 2, and 22% at level 3. However, only Void Weapon Channeling on the artifact can hit damage level 4, because again, you can only equip 3 Void Weapon Surge mods to your armor at a time. But man, what a trade-off. Are you gonna look me right in the eye and tell me that you're willingly gonna hold back all 3 of your class abilities and your super in order to climb from a 22% weapon damage bonus to a 25% bonus when Void Weapon Surge can already hit level 3 without you needing to keep your abilities on a leash? And furthermore, Void Weapon Surge only requires you to get an armor charge, which is really kind of straightforward and easy to build craft into with the new system. Also, if you combine Void Weapon Surge and Time Dilation on your class armor, then you get around 19 seconds of uptime. And again, no need to blue ball your abilities to get that done. And maybe you're thinking, well, maybe Void Weapon Channeling works in PvP and Void Weapon Surge doesn't. Nope, they both work in PvP, evidently, albeit with drastically reduced damage buffs across the board, which, thank God. At most, both perks in PvP can only slightly change up your time to kill, like allowing you to 2-head one body with a 140 RPM hand cannon instead of straight up 3-shooting the guy in the head. And it doesn't matter, because still, if I'm given the choice between the 2 options in PvP, I would take Void Weapon Surge every time. Hey, fun fact, did you know that the Reaper class armor mod will let you generate an orb of power on a weapon kill as long as you just use your class ability first? And that it works in PvP? Actually, I might have said too much. Why don't we cut the feed? All right, where was I? Right, the artifact. It's not all doom and gloom. I was bummed by Prismatic and especially Void Weapon Channeling for sure, but the other mods are actually kind of popping. I'm having trouble getting exact numbers on Bricks from Beyond, but we're probably not going to get those unless Bungie hands over the data on a platter. After a little testing, it just seems that anytime you kill a non-red bar enemy with any Void weapon at all, heavy or not, you're slowly upping the chances that the next time you do finish a yellow or orange bar enemy with a Void heavy weapon, you will get an extra heavy drop. Probably an escalating chance, if I had to guess. Keep that one handy for the day 1 raid if you're rocking a Void build. If you like to play with fire, I have horrible, wonderful news. Solar Surge, Flare Up, and Rain of Firebolts are a delightfully unholy trinity of pain. Firebolts on their own deal 20 Scorch on contact. The Ember of Ashes fragment adds 10 Scorch, and Flare Up adds a whopping 30, meaning that if you have both the armor mod and the fragment together, you can deal 60 Scorch with just 1 Firebolt grenade. With Rain of Firebolts, you can ignite enemy players for an insta-kill by tagging them with 2 Firebolts, which again, Rain of Firebolts will let you do. Now, technically, you don't need Ember of Ashes to pull that off, as Flare Up alone would give your Firebolts 50 Scorch total. But remember, Scorch decays quickly, and the extra 10 Scorch from Ember of Ashes can help guarantee the ignite if you're a little slow at throwing that second Firebolt grenade. And while PvP shenanigans are good for a laugh, I'm way more excited actually to put together some Firebolt builds with the 3 of those artifact mods put together in PvE. Extra grenades, more Scorch from those grenades, and the ability to generate an easy fire sprite via Solar Surge. Beautiful. And speaking of making the room go boom, Threaded Blast and Untangler are probably my favorite Strand pairing right now. Suspension is insanely cheesy and effective in PvE if you didn't know. We were doing the legendary campaign the other day, and when we found out that you could suspend Tormentors, we were constantly abusing them with that mechanic. If you're not already, you should 100% be thinking about a day 1 raid build with Threaded Blast and Untangler together to make entire mobs of ads near useless. One more artifact I want to highlight quickly, Medieval Champion. I've talked to a few people who have already apparently forgotten about the new overcharged mechanic in D2, which is in activities like Legend Lost Sectors and Nightfalls. Remember that any activity that tells you there is an overcharged modifier, regardless of what that overcharged modifier is, if you have Medieval Champion unlocked on your artifact, it will be activated. Meaning, if you go into a Legend Lost Sector right now with a glaive or a sword and Medieval Champion, that should translate to a raw plus 25% extra damage output for that glaive or sword for the entire time that you're wielding that weapon. No activation criteria required. Not too goddamn shabby, so if you're a stab-happy weirdo, get out there and do a little bit of chopping. I could go on about how great the mods in Column 2 are and Volatile Flow, but I feel like they're pretty self-explanatory, and I wanted to give a little extra commentary and numbers on the other ones because I said I would. TLDR. Void weapon channeling, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Subscribe if you're new, and I appreciate you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on stream.